The 2004 tax rate is broken down as follows. The town's portion of the tax rate is $9.22 per thousand. The county portion of the tax rate is $1.32. The local school effort is $10.48. The state school effort is $2.27, for a total 2004 tax rate of $23.30 per thousand. To understand what happened with the tax rate, you must first understand what would have happened to the tax rate had there not been a revaluation. This slide breaks down the rate for 2003 and compares it to what the tax rate would have been for 2004 if assessed values had remained the same. The rate would have gone from $40.30 to $43.11 per thousand, which is an increase of $2.81, or almost 7%. Of this increase, the town's portion of the tax rate would have increased only 2 cents, because the Plymouth Town Select Board was able to offset the majority of the increase in the town's portion of the tax rate by using $325,000 from fund balance. The State of New Hampshire Department of Revenue guidelines say that you should maintain between 5 and 10% of all the budgets, town, school, and county, and fund balance. Using $325,000 to offset the tax rate leaves a balance of $869,109, which is approximately 7%, well within the Department of Revenue guidelines. Two of the reasons the town was able to use such a large amount of fund balance are: one, the town's departmental efforts to increase revenues in various areas, and two, the retroactive payment from Plymouth State University for life safety services. These unanticipated revenues grew fund balance considerably. Next, you will notice that there is a large spike in the school portion of the tax rate. One of the reasons for this spike is due to the cuts made at the state level to the education funding formula, which reduced Plymouth's funding by $210,000. Education funding was cut by 20% at the state level, and these costs were shifted down to local taxpayers. Last year, the town of Plymouth received $936,703. But this year, due to the cuts, we were only given $726,237, and that difference had to be made up in the school portion of the tax rate. So then, if the impact from the approved budgets was a total increase of approximately 7%, why are many homeowners finding their increase in taxes are much more than that? To understand, we must next look at the revaluation results. Residential values went from just over $112 million in 2003 to nearly $223 million in 2004. This means that the average homeowner's value almost doubled. With the new tax rate of $23.30, that would be an increase in taxes of about 14.6%, of which 7% is from the new budgets, and the other 7% is due to the shifts in values from the revaluation process. Commercial values and utility values did not increase at the same level as residential values. Commercial values increased at a much lesser rate due to the fact that a large portion of commercial property had been recently revalued only a couple of years ago, and their values were increased significantly at that time. In comparison, residential homes hadn't been revalued since 1996, and these values in most cases were only about 1/2 of the market value. In 2004, the town of Plymouth was due for recertification from the State of New Hampshire Department of Revenue. Therefore, the town needed to bring values as close to 100% of market value before the end of 2004 to meet the state standards. To do this, the town hired New England municipal consultants to complete a partial revaluation. Today, values are very close to market value and well within the state requirements. Please note the market is always in flux, and the board's goal for the future is to stay as close as market value as possible by making periodic adjustments to try to prevent those large adjustments in value all at once. In the end, the average homeowner's value doubled, and their tax burden increased by approximately 15%. If the value of your home more than doubled, then the increase in your tax burden is more than 15%. Exactly how much a property increased in value depends on how far off the 2003 assessment was from market value. If you feel your assessed value is not an accurate reflection of the market value of your property, then you should come to Town Hall and fill out an abatement application, which will prompt a review of your property. In January, property valuation booklets will be mailed to every Plymouth taxpayer. If you have additional questions about the process or need further explanation, please feel free to call Town Hall at 536-1731.